You know what was one of my biggest problems when I started with SQL? In this video, we'll explore SQL for beginners with ChatGPT to learn it quickly and for free. I'll also share my battle scars, like real SQL questions from my data engineering interviews, like live coding sessions or home assignments. And I will show you how to use ChatGPT to avoid my biggest problem back then. Like every great journey, we need a roadmap. Imagine having a clear plan broken down into 2-3 days chunks, taking you from a beginner to professional in just 1 month. Let's see how ChatGPT can fine-tune this roadmap. Hey Siri! ChatGPT. I want to learn SQL, create an advanced, detailed monthly plan for studying SQL with 2-3 days topic splits.
Introduction to databases in SQL, select statement, filtering and sorting data, working with functions.
Oh, somehow it didn't split it by the weeks correctly, but the daily split is quite accurate. But we are not just amateurs. We want the whole enchilada, advanced topics and all.
Outline advanced SQL topics. Cross-joins. Cross-joins for outer joins, subqueries, and derived tables, set operations, union, intersect, window functions, or partition by,
Now it goes deeply into the topic. The plan looks great, but how can we deep dive into each topic? Let's start with day 1. I would suggest using such a prompt structure. I want to become a good data analyst. Explain to me extensively the topic of introduction to databases and SQL. As you can see, prompting each topic in such a manner will give you the information needed. Let's tackle the next one, where clause. I want to learn SQL. Explain to me the topic of filtering data with where clause comprehensively.
Yeah, here's like a detailed explanation of the where clause, like with the conditions, with the filtering.
But hold on, we cannot just read, right? Let's get our hands dirty with real-life examples. I want to learn SQL topic for filtering data with where clause. Give me a task with actual data without a solution and expected output.
Okay, so here's the task for filtering data with where clause. Write a SQL query to retrieve the employees who work in the IT department and have salary greater than or equal to 6,000. Okay, perfect. This is the expected output.
Great. Now it suggests you to write your solution somewhere else, like Sublime, PyCharm, like any text editor, whatever. And let's go back to check. Is this solution correct?
And paste it.
You see how nicely it's formatted and includes a short explanation. If you're enjoying this video, like and follow. Okay, the last one, more advanced. Let's test how it's gonna perform. I'm a newbie in SQL. Explain to me comprehensively the topic advanced joins. Left join, right join, full join.
Okay, nice. Inner join, left outer join, right join, perfect. Full join. Okay, oh, even self join is in here. That's great.
Cool, many visual examples and code, so you can proceed with that. However, in case you are stuck and don't understand what's going on, you can always use child prompting. Yeah, that famous explain to a child postfix to any of your questions. Let's rephrase the last one if you didn't get it correct. I'm a newbie in SQL. Explain to me comprehensively the topic advanced joins. Like to a child.
That's interesting. It actually uses the example of toys for that. Nice. Inner join, matching the same type of objects from both sets. Matching the second set of toys. That's great.
If you don't like the output, just ask to remake it. Like, could you use another analogy?
Okay, now it uses the example of friends.
Now that we have our study plan, let's put our knowledge into practice. How to get real-world examples? First, I want to show you the capabilities of ChatGPT in generating its own tasks and solutions. Secondly, I'll share my battle scars, real SQL questions from my data engineering interviews like live coding sessions or home assignments. We'll test how to accurately it answers those. Part 1. I suggest using the following formula when you want to practice. You assign the role, define the complexity level of the task, and ask to provide the example of input data. I'm being interviewed for a data scientist role. Give me a medium complexity SQL interview task along with a detailed description and example of input data.
Okay, analyzing sales data. You have been provided with a data set that contains information about sales transactions. Your task is to write SQL query to analyze the data and retrieve specific information based on the given requirements. So this is the input data, the schema of it, and also the requirements. And you see like the 6 points are here. Retrieve the total sales revenue, the average price per product, and etc.
How cool is that? Now you wrote your answer and want to compare if those match. Give a solution to the above query.
Okay, retrieve the total sales revenue for each product. Yes. Calculate the average price. Yes. Determine the total quantity sold for each product. Group by product. Sum. Find the customer who made the highest number of purchases. And also you have a very nice detailed explanation what's happening within each task and which function makes what.
So you can generate as many questions as you want to practice. Good rule of thumb is like 2-3 SQL tasks a day for 10 days to get the fluency. Part 2. Okay, so now sharing a couple of real questions that I got at different data engineering interviews. Task 1. To finish a class, students must pass 4 exams. Given a table exam scores containing the data about all of the exams that students took, form a new table to track the scores for each student. You have input and the expected output. Let's copy it as is without any adjustments and let's see what it's gonna say.
Okay, to form a new table to track the scores for each student, we need to pivot the data from the exam scores table. And we can use conditional aggregation to achieve this. Okay, so student name, group by student name, then we're using the max, case 1 exam ID, then score and.
Yeah, it's correct. Let's move on. Task 2. Write a query to identify customers who placed more than 3 transactions each in both 2019 and 2020. You have input and the expected output.
And users table schema as well, and also like the schema of the expected output. Okay, yes, great. The solution is correct. Select name from users, joining with transactions, where we are extracting the year from the created at column in the list 2019-2020, grouping by, and adding our constraints like having, count. So here you can read in detail what's happening under the hood.
And the last one, task 3. Write a SQL query to create a histogram of the number of comments per user in the months of January 2020.
There are some notes, like assumed in buckets plus intervals of 1, comments by the users that were not created in January 2020 should be counted in 0 buckets. As it's medium complexity tasks, we don't even have the example here. So we only have the input schemas, let's say, of the user table and comments table. We need to figure out everything ourselves. And the output schema. Okay, so here's the SQL query. Select comment count, count stars frequency from our CVE, group by comment count. Okay, order by comment count. What do we have here? We have the join of the users table with the comments. And also some filtering conditions. Yeah, those are correct. We have the months of January and the year 2020, grouping by the ID and counting the ID numbers. So yeah, if you have any kind of questions, you can refer to that, or you can again type something. Would you explain to me the above query step by step? Yeah, and it's indeed going to break everything into sequential steps, which you can tackle and read more about it.
Let me share a pro tip. When talking to ChatGPT, be clear, be precise. How does SQL work is a no-go. Try explain select statements in SQL. Clear doesn't mean brief. For better prompting, use prompter method. P stands for persona, specify the role and expertise. R, reference, provide the context. O, objective, define the task. M, margins, set clear conditions. P, perspective, request multiple outputs. T, through output, request clear outputs. E, examples, show output examples. R, refine, adjust the instructions. Before we wrap up, let's address the elephant in the room. ChatGPT is not perfect. It can miss syntax errors and may not always offer deep insights into advanced SQL concepts, especially if it's vendor-related syntax like Snowflake or BigQuery. Therefore, it's important to consult reliable SQL resources. And there you have it, dears! a comprehensive plan to learn SQL for free with ChatGPT. My biggest regret is that I didn't have enough of practice examples for particular topics, and I couldn't generate those. But ChatGPT makes it easier for you. So remember to stick to the study plan, practice the SQL tasks, use clear prompts, and be aware of the limitations. Together we can master SQL and unlock a world of data opportunities. Post your questions below. And here just popped up where you can subscribe to my channel, which is quite interesting. And in general, let's be friends.